Doing well. Welcome everyone to our grand Gala and Ethics4NextGen Hackathon AI Awards night. I'm so excited that you have all decided to join us. And as Delilah from my local radio station says, you've done your part. Now kick back, relax, and enjoy the show. You've done your part, and now it's time for me, your host, Shilpi Agarwal, to make sure that we celebrate each and every one of you, because this is a celebration for all of us, and it cannot be possible without all of your hard work and everything that we have come so far and achieved together. We have a lot to cover, so I'm going to get started. Let's get this party started. And a lot of people have joined us, and more are in the waiting room, and they're joining as we speak. So we'll let them join in on the fun. And so welcome everyone. Good evening.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Hello. Hello. All right. So we'll start tonight with, there's just so many people coming. So we need someone to take care of that. Susanna, maybe I'll make you a moderator. Is that okay, Susanna?
Yeah, sure.
All right, cool. So we are going to start tonight by, awarding and honoring our mentors. And they have been the backbone of this hackathon, like been there with all the teams for the 48 hours, 50 hours. We give extra time to all the teams. And without their commitment and dedication, we couldn't be here. So we want to celebrate them. And we have some very fun awards for them, but it's going to be based on what you think. So we have a lot of personality awards for our mentors, and it's going to be based on your who you think deserves the best award. Okay, so this is fun. Get your gamification gears and hands ready. It's like quick fingers and who gets to vote first. So everyone gets to vote, but we have a fixed time. So here we go. We are going to start with the first one, with the Great Encourager Award. And this award is given to the mentor who has been the greatest encourager during your hackathon. And I know that you will only know the mentors that you have worked with, and that's okay, that's fair. So feel free to start polling. I'm going to start polling in a second, but then you need to say what you think and who you think deserves this award. So the first one, which mentor or SME deserves the Great Encourager Award? And the poll is live. You have 15 seconds. We'll wait for a few more seconds. Okay.
You can see the poll at the bottom.
Is everyone able to see the poll?
No, unfortunately not.
I saw it.
Okay.
As soon as it launches, I'm sharing the screen, so it should show you. Because we have technical difficulty, I'm going to wait for a few more. Or you can go to the poll below and then click on that. Isn't technology fun? We can't live with it, we can't live without it. So, all right, we are going to end this poll here for now. We have many, many more polls, so please make sure that you get this sorted out. Okay, I'm going to share the results with you. Are you able to see?
No, I don't think we can see your screen.
I can see a poll window.
I can see.
So I'm sharing poll
I
results.
still can't see a poll.
Okay, 1 second. Let me go back to Zoom. And then share again.
Bruce is the winner. Is he here?
Yeah, I'm not sure. Let's see. So are you able to see
I
the
think not
window?
everyone was able to see the poll for some reason.
Should we do it again? Okay.
I think now it is come up. I think it was there. Poll was there. No.
No,
Okay, I'm going
I
to
wasn't able
relaunch
to
it.
vote. Okay.
Is everyone able to see the poll? I can relaunch it. Okay. Okay, there you go. We are relaunching it. Are you able to see it now?
Yes.
Suspense is killing me here.
Yes, yes.
Bruce is like, can I still win again?
Yes, you can still win again, Torian. You have 9 chances. We have 9 special category awards for our mentors. So every mentor is a winner. Each mentor will go home tonight with a prize. So you are a winner already. How's that?
I think I was a winner with my teams. That's all right. I love my team.
Right. Yes, that too. And the fact that you participated makes you a winner already. So, all right. So we are going to end this poll, and now I'm going to share the results.
Oh, it's a tie. 3 ways.
Oh, it's a tie.
Someone changed their answers. Or
Or more people could vote. We don't know.
I wasn't able to vote, but I would have voted for Torian.
Oh,
+1.
because you'll have many, many more chances to vote for your favorite mentor. So somebody should, let me just take a quick.
I appreciate it.
Yes. All right. I've taken a snapshot of that. I'm going to stop sharing. Okay, moving on.
Bruce voted for me as also.
Next category award. This is so difficult now. Zoom has been made it so difficult to share. Okay, never mind. So the second is for the mentor who has been the greatest listener, for being the greatest listener ever. And this award goes to, let's see. We're going to start the next poll. The greatest listener award. And it's live.
Oh, this one's good. Bruce listened to me complain all the time.
why can't we see our mentor, Amir?
He's there.
Amir
Amir
Rashid,
Rashid.
4th. Amir Rashid is number 4 on this one.
Oh, Rashid. Oh, okay. He's okay. I think his name is Amir Iza, if I'm not wrong.
Yeah,
Yes.
to be called
Yes.
Amir, so we didn't put the full name.
Okay.
Yes, great that you asked. Because Amir would have missed out. All right, looks like everyone has cast their votes, so we'll end the poll and share the results.
Ooh.
There you go.
So there's Fatima, Torian, and Frederica.
And Bruce with 30%.
Yes, cool, very nice. So take the screenshot. We'll have to compile these results because obviously some of them are multiple. So we'll choose the best one for each mentor. All right. Awesome. Everyone is enjoying this little game?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So the next category
Let's
is
see what we have.
Great Motivator. So who inspired you the most, the greatest motivating mentor? And the poll is live.
You know, I'm realizing Susanna's not in this.
It's for mentors, right?
I'm also not there, Torian.
You people. Messing with my stats. How am I supposed to vote for you now?
That's okay. We want everyone to be winners, and we consider ourselves winners because you guys participated. All right, looks like everyone has cast their votes. So I'm going to end this poll now and share results.
So that's
Oh my goodness. That's embarrassing.
oh, congrats.
Torian
I
is
like
the winner of this one. Yay, Torian.
Thank you guys and ladies.
Awesome, cool.
I'm gonna blush now
Yeah, you can blush, Torian.
because I'm not on camera.
Yeah, that's why you can show yourself and blush all in one. All right, let's see what the next one is. Who can guess what the next one is? No awards for
Best
guessing.
team? Best team?
Oh, that's coming. Team is coming. These are just for mentors. So great ideator. So someone who helped you ideate the best. A mentor who was there to help you ideate. And the poll is live. Okay, mentors who have won, please try to give awards to other mentors. Otherwise, we will pick the second, the third, the fourth. We'll have to do that on our own. I know
Mentors who won, vote for others. Voting's over though.
That is, yeah. I see the dilemma in that.
You can't see the vote.
Sure.
Not sure why she's not. It's if you click on the polls, you should be able to see.
Yeah, I like Bruce's idea. He's saying we can only vote for others. That should be the easy way it is. Makes sense. Yeah.
Can everyone see the poll still?
It says 27 people voted and 29 people are participating. So that leaves out me and Susanna. So I guess everybody, no, 19 of 27 voted.
Yeah.
Okay. So there are a few people.
Not seeing this poll, she says. Sudha also, Sudha can see.
She's saying I can see it.
So just at the bottom of your screen, if you can click on the poll, it should show up.
Woo! Samantha, high five.
Samantha, congratulations. Woohoo! Great ideator. All right. Go ahead, Toria.
Trying to get Vanith up on here too.
All right, let's see what's the next one. The great helper. For being the greatest helper ever as a mentor.
Samantha is amazing.
Yes, she is.
All right, and the poll is live.
We make her blush though. This will be interesting. Like on camera. Oh. I'm a terrible person. I'm sorry. I'm gonna mute myself.
Ooh.
Nice. People are still voting, so I'm going to give a couple more seconds.
Yeah, let's give a little more time.
Yeah. People are really thinking.
Yeah, they have to think and vote.
Yeah. All right. Seems like everybody has voted.
Wow.
All
Fatima
right.
and
Fatima and Harshit.
Congratulations.
Congratulations, Fatima and Harshit. Well deserved. And based on what categories you win next, we'll award one of you for this one. Cool. All right. So next one is for great collaborator, for being the greatest collaborator ever as a mentor. Who has helped you the most in bringing ideas and collaborating with you? And the poll is live.
You are welcome, Harshit. Okay. Wow. Collaborator.
All right. Has everyone cast their votes?
I think people are still thinking.
Okay.
They're not sure.
Yeah, we have a lot. So I want to, so we'll give 30 seconds from now on. We need to just think of what you want to do.
Okay.
Okay.
Ooh.
End this and show results. Okay.
All right.
Harshit, Federica, and Bruce are a tie. Woohoo! Good job. Great job, guys. Harshit, Federica, and Bruce. Congratulations. All right. Next one. Great hustler. Who, according to you, is the greatest hustler as a mentor or as an SME? Who helped you keep on track, follow the timelines, made sure you submitted?
Sanjeev, this one.
Yeah, I know, right?
Great hustler. Tarian, you didn't do so bad. You are doing well. Okay.
How could it possibly be me when the only person who made sure that every single group was turning in everything and basically threatened to kick them out unless they didn't get on board, which was Susanna. So I'm just saying.
I mean, she cheated and didn't put herself on there. I was gonna put her up for like so many things, but no, she's like, y'all know already.
I literally was going to submit a proposal because of her emails. I got scared, right? That's how intimidating they were. So.
Oh God. This is fun. Okay, I'm going to end this and we're going to share the results. Okay, Federica, Fatima, and Torian. Woohoo!
Wow.
Oh.
Congratulations.
You're grabbing a lot of awards this evening, Torian.
I mean, you are only going to get one finally. You may grab a lot,
You can win all you want. You get one.
Yes. We want everyone to go home with a prize. So, all right. Who is the greatest morale builder?
The worst part is I'm still looking for my webcam.
All right, we need to wrap this quickly so that we can go over to team presentations and then the awards. So,
All right.
let's move this along.
Oh.
Shilpi's like, vote faster, crack that whip.
It's my job to be the hustler, to keep you on track so that we can finish on time. Poor Joe, he's on Eastern time and he's, spending time with us. And his part is towards the end, so I don't want to keep him waiting for long. All right.
Okay, I think they finished.
They finished? Cool. All right. So Federica, 29%, Federica, and yes, then next is Dorian. Congratulations. Federica, is she here tonight? Is she here? Federica?
Yes, I'm here. And I just sent my dog off that was in the video in place of me. Some of you might have seen her. She was harassing me.
We love dogs, we love pets, we love family and kids, spouses too. So everybody's welcome. Congratulations, Federica.
Thank you.
All right, I think this is the last one. Great communicator. Let's go. Wave your hands if you are ready. Ready? All done? Still thinking?
Oh, sorry. Can you please come back in, Shilpi? I missed.
It's still going on. You can still vote. I've not ended it yet.
But I can't see. Yeah.
Okay, we've ended the poll and here are the results. So Sanjeev, Federica, Harshit, Bruce. Wow, 4 people in tie.
4-way tie.
Awesome, 4-way tie. Great communicators. You all deserve an applause and congratulations to each and every one. Thank you, mentors and subject matter experts. All right. So next, we have the team presentations, and we are going to start with Team AI in Criminal Justice, Team 8, that presented as Team Status Quo. Are you guys all here and ready to present?
Hi, everyone. I think only myself and Revati could join. Rest of us, the time zone issues and too early or too late.
Absolutely. So, please go ahead. Do a good job for your whole team.
Thank you. Thank you. So, Revati, you are there, right? Yeah, Revati is here. So, yeah. Shall I be sharing a screen to do a presentation?
Yeah, it's enabled. Feel free to share.
Okay. Let me see. Can you guys see my screen?
Yes.
Okay. Yep. Cool. So I've written also. Hello, everyone. First of all, thanks for giving us this opportunity to present our solution. As you can see, our team name is Team Status Quo. And we have worked on a very important and very important problem in our society, which is hate crimes. before I dig deep into it, I would like to give a short introduction of our teammates and start with myself. I'm a software ERP consultant working in this industry for the last 8 years, and currently trying to find my place in this interesting world of data science. In this project, I worked as a project coordinator and project lead kind of role. I also helped with the Tableau data dashboard, which we created, and helped team to come up with the presentation, pitch video, final submission, artifacts, all those things. We don't have many people, so we have Revati here. So Revati, you want to talk about?
So hi all, myself Revati. I'm from Chennai, India. Currently, I'm working as a software developer in an automobile industry, and I'm an NLP enthusiast. In this hackathon, I contributed to my team via building a chatbot, a conversational AI solution to the problem that we took. So happy to join you all.
Thanks, Revati. Yeah, so I didn't mention I'm from Australia, and there are people from different parts of the world. Sherry is from London. She could not join. She mainly worked on the visualization, Tableau visualization part, but she also helped us with chatbot solution. She helped us with the final review of the final artifacts which we submitted, and she did help us in that way. Revati has also talked about it. Then we have Carmel, who's a law student, and she worked with Revati and Sherry on the chatbot solution, give some important insights on how to build it and what are things to include. We had Archit. He did his data analysis on the data which we had. He brought the data. He helped us to find some key insights to create those dashboard and chatbot solutions. Raghavendra worked on the Twitter data analysis. So one of the key things which we wanted to highlight was how Twitter or social media is impacting creating the hate crimes. We don't have much of a data to showcase, but yeah, he worked on that solution. Rishi was part of, I think, almost all the solutions, but he mainly worked, his main contribution was the web page which we created. And yeah, that's our team. Introduction, as I said, we have worked on a very important and very thriving problem in our society, hate crimes. But as an introduction, I would say we are living in a very such kind of world which is going towards a phase which looks like it can break any day. There will be a civil war any day because of the hate that is spread over the social media. As we call it, the hashtag world. As mentioned in the slide, we didn't teach our computers to recognize hate, but yes, we can make one to fight against it. What are the impacts that is being caused? These are like mainly high level impacts which is happening. Main ones, there are a lot of them. These are the main ones. There are frequent riots. There is a lot of hate crimes happening. And the most important alarming issues around the world are getting ignored because of this hate speech, spreading of this hate speech in social media. So hate crimes. In our project, mainly we have concentrated on the hate crimes and the impact of it. We are basically we have showcased how strong a motive hate can be to commit a criminal offense, and we are trying to showcase or visualize it in terms of a graphical view or visualization dashboard. Because often you see that the numbers are not enough to raise any eyebrows. It's some kind of a UI of visualization which gives people more insights of what's happening around the world. So we as Team Status Quo, we have worked on this solution, and we have worked mainly on this problem. Why do we think this is raising? We have mainly found out 5 problems. Raising social media reach. No face means no shame. Means when you're face to face, you might not say or spread those kind of fake news or hatred, which people do normally on social media platform. The hatred on a fingertip. Everyone now has a mobile phone, and so it is so easy to spread anything currently. Then the fake news, propaganda, and of course the main part is the political agenda and any kind of hate speech going around. So what are the problems we are solving with this? We are mainly solving two problems. One is the awareness among people of what's happening in terms of hate crimes around the world. We only had US data, so all our work was related to US, but I think this can be extended throughout the world. And we also worked on, which was the main part of our solution, was to empathize with people who have suffered due to these hate crimes and to the bias, due to all the hate crimes that is happening around the world. So we mainly worked on those two problems. I would ask Revati to discuss and to showcase more about what we built current solution and how our solution can be enhanced, or in future, what is the future of the solution?
So, sorry to interrupt, team. You all know that you have 10 minutes maximum to present, right? So please, yeah, let's keep it under that time. That way we are respectful to everyone. Thank you so much.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah,
yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks, Biplab. So I'd like to elaborate on the magic solution that we have built for this hackathon. So our solution consists of a dynamic dashboard, AI-powered chatbot, and an awareness webpage. So the dashboard is built using Tableau, as Biplab mentioned. So our dashboard primarily focuses on hate crime analysis in US basically. So it visualizes three things: hate crimes per year, and total incidents and victims per state, each US state, and hate crimes classification based on offenders' race. One more thing is that the most common hate crimes that occur is also visualized through that dashboard. The second solution that we are providing is an AI-powered chatbot, which was built using Google's Dialogflow NLP engine. And we have named it as Justice Buddy. So it serves three purposes. First, it informs people about hate crimes and its nature. Like, what is hate crime? Who can undergo a hate crime offense? All these basic questions, it helps them. And secondly, it helps them to safely report a hate crime without any hesitation or fear, because many people, many sufferers would hesitate to put up a hate crime complaint. And thirdly, it connects them with nearby focus groups, people who have undergone similar sufferings, similar experience, similar horrors of hate crimes. So the third part of the solution that we have built is a web app. It is an awareness web app, which is like a one-stop solution for all hate crime happening around them. And it provides an interface also to report any such crimes. So these are the things that we have built. As you can see that this is a prototype that we have built like during these 48 hours of hackathon. It can be enhanced. So the things that we would like to propose as a future prospect of our solution is that the dashboard can be made more dynamic, that it keeps track of all the hate crimes and updates regularly, thus providing a one-stop solution, as I mentioned earlier. And the chatbot can be integrated with a variety of platforms like Slack, Twitter, Telegram, and it can also be integrated with government websites, NGO organization websites, and also focus groups websites. And the web app can be enhanced in terms of providing more insights regarding hate crimes. So these are the things that we'd like to take it forward as a part of our solution. Thanks, Biplab.
So yeah, thanks, Revati. And I would just like to conclude the presentation by saying we as a team have tried to work on this problem and come up with insights to share awareness for people who think that there aren't many hate crimes happening around the world, or it is just a one-off case and there's not much happening. So it's an eye-opener for those people. Also, most importantly, we thought and worked on a solution for the people who are suffering from these hate crimes. Our main part of our solution is to empathize with those kind of people. We know there are a number of people working and organizations who are working to clean up the social media platforms, and they want to stop the spreading of these fake news and all those things are happening. And of course, as we speak, there are a lot of AI solutions which are being built to improve it and to work on it. But there is not much we are very far from saying that we will be able to stop the hate crimes or hate speech that is being happening around the world. So I would like to end this with 2 sentences. That is, we cannot kill the haters. Otherwise, as Gandhiji said, an eye for an eye will blind the whole world. But we can always empathize with the people who are suffering this problem, because, as he again said, fear of disease killed more people than the disease itself. That's our presentation. Finally, before I end, I would like to thank our mentors, Amriza, Amir, Fatima, and Bruce. You guys were awesome. You helped us, guided us throughout the solution, and this would not have been possible without you guys. And of course, finally, thanks to the organizing committee, Silpi, Susanna, to do this event. Looking forward to the next one.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you so much, Status Co team. This is awesome. Great job presenting. Well thought of solution. And at the end, I will also include, you mentioned how you want to continue working on it, and we have some ideas on those. So we'll share those in a little bit. Now it's time for the next team. Biplab, if you could stop sharing. Oh, I think you did already. All right. So the next team that is going to present is AI COVID contact tracing team 2. Are you guys ready?
Yeah, we're here. I wanted to, I was supposed to present, but I guess my teammate Audrey is also on the call. So Audrey, do you want to help me present, or do you want me to?
I'd be happy to help you present.
Yeah, perfect.
If I'm
sorry, should be like, I guess we're not prepared because we didn't know who was going to exactly present today, because our other team members are not here. But I think Audrey and I can just kind of switch back and forth, right? Yeah. So Audrey, maybe I'll start off. I'll present my screen, and then I can start off with a high level what we were doing, and then you can kind of take over and talk about the data if you want.
Sure.
Yeah. Okay. So I'll share my screen.
It should be enabled. Yeah.
Yeah. Can you let me know when you can see my screen?
We can see your
Yeah,
screen.
sure. Yeah, so all of our team members are not on the call, but my name is Shubhangi Agrawal, and we have Audrey as well from our team on the call.
Hello.
So yeah, we want to give a special thanks to our mentor, Frederica, as well. Thanks, Frederica, for all your help so far. Yeah, so I'm going to start off with talking about the problem contact. So as you think about COVID-19 contact tracing, we really have to take into account the sort of different populations that are affected by COVID-19, and how COVID-19 sort of app may not really address those different populations. So for example, you can think about people who are people of color or LGBTQ, people who don't have healthcare insurance or don't have the income, and how do you think about a contact tracing application to address and be able to capture everyone. So for example, you can think about in US and UK, there's a lot of different languages spoken, right? And as a lot of companies like Google and Apple, for example, are coming up with these contact tracing designs and applications, it's something that you really have to consider is how do you take into account the really high risk population who may not really be well represented with a contact tracing app for COVID-19. So it really matters because we want to make sure that all of these populations are represented, right? And you can have a lot of bias if you're possibly excluding some of these high-risk groups. So you can think of, for example, people who are older may be more susceptible to COVID-19, or we definitely know they are, but they're probably less likely to use smartphones or any sort of technology and apps. So how do we really, kind of make sure that their sort of their information is integrated into this, into the contact tracing? So we have, when we think about the policy, we have to design something that's segmented and kind of takes into account all of these populations. So for our solution, we basically looked at data visualization. So we looked at over, I think, 35, 40 sources, and we consolidated all these sources together to identify what are some of the biases that we could see in the data that we had for COVID-19, and what did that really tell us about how do we really design a contact tracing application and policies in order to track sort of the different users and the different segments of the population. So we looked at, we basically segmented the different population, looking at various factors like ethnicity, phone ownership, unemployment, and more. So Audrey, do you want to start off by talking to us about the US data as well?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we checked out the United States healthcare data. As we can see here, in all states, most people have a private insurance. However, we can also identify that there is still a sizable percentage of people without healthcare, like they're uninsured. That's in the blue there. And while the amount of people who are publicly and privately insured do outnumber the amount of people who are uninsured, that's still a lot of people. And that means that there are still, these people in particular are very vulnerable to coronavirus. And we need to keep that in mind when creating these contact tracing apps.
To add on to what Audrey said, like for example, people who are probably uninsured may not even want to declare they have COVID-19. As you might have heard, sometimes the cost of hospitalization with COVID-19 is $1 million, where we had some examples. So people who are uninsured probably don't want to declare that, because if they're taken to the hospital, right, or they may be running into all of these high costs, which they may not have the capacity to pay.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, go ahead, Audrey.
So as we can see here, this is political leaning by state, and as we can see, there's a mix of conservative and liberal people, and COVID-19, people's stances on subjects such as masks and healthcare are affected by their political leaning, meaning that some people may not take precautions that they need to prevent getting COVID-19, or may be more likely to get COVID-19 in areas where people do not take these preventative measures due to their political beliefs, and that this will cause differences in the demographics in the United States, which means that we need to change how the apps track it depending on where we're focusing on. As we can see here, in the United States, these are different, the phone ownerships by different demographics. This is important because if someone doesn't have a cell phone, then, doesn't have a smartphone, but has a cell phone, that means they will be unable to use these apps, which means that makes it basically inaccessible to them. For example, in the elderly range of 65 plus, almost half of the people who own phones own a cell phone, but not a smartphone. And they can't use the apps that are needed to track it. So we have to reach these demographics in different ways than just the apps. As we can see here, these are the amount of COVID-19 deaths in the United States. Typically, the older you go, the more likely you are to die of COVID-19. Men have a higher death rate than women in almost all of the demographics, with the exception of 85 years and older, because the percentage of female deaths is actually higher. I mean, the number of deaths, not percentage.
Yeah.
And now this is our statistics on unemployment versus age. This is very important because as we can see, there is a amount of people who are unemployed have lower income, meaning that they may not have accessibility to COVID-19 treatment, healthcare, cell phones, and apps. Most 16 and 17-year-olds, as they are, and 16 to 19-year-olds have the highest amount of unemployment. However, they are the youngest demographic, and that makes sense considering most of them are high school students in that age range, or early college students. So most people aren't really looking towards hiring these younger demographics especially if they're under 18 due to legal issues. But with the older demographics, they have lower unemployment rates. It is also noticeable that the unemployment rates changed between 2019 and 2020. If you compare like the bars, like you will notice there's a little bar and then there's a big bar, meaning that the unemployment rate increased by a significant amount. The older you go, the unemployment rate tends to drop. However, it is also noticeable that for people of color, the unemployment rate is significantly higher than for other demographics.
Audrey, I can present the next few slides, right? And then you can conclude, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Okay. So yeah, and I know we have limited time, right? In the next few slides, what we try to show here is, and thanks to Frederica as well, for his really insightful knowledge. When we're thinking about how we look at COVID-19, this is data normalized by the population. So if you did not normalize this data, and we don't have that graph here, but you would actually see that actually the whites or like Caucasians tend to have the highest highest deaths for COVID-19. However, when you normalize it by the actual population, you see that African Americans actually tend to be higher here. So it's interesting to see where the biases come in, depending on how you sort of really interpret and evaluate your data. You kind of see the same thing across for example, we looked at a state, Georgia. So in Georgia, actually, if we had not normalized this, we'd again kind of see this, the whites tend to have more death rate compared to African Americans. And so once we started to normalize this, we saw that, African Americans were again at the top, really actually followed closely by Native Americans, which stood out more in this population. And then in California, we actually noticed that a lot of the minorities, so we have African Americans, the Hispanic population, as well as Native Americans, tend to be like the highest death rate, even though when you look at the overall population, if you were not normalizing this, you'd be misled and believe that, Caucasians tended to have the highest death rates. So we're not, in the interest of time, we're not really gonna go as much into the UK data, but we sort of saw some of the similar trends that we noticed with the US data. So we had a lot of the similar outcomes and learnings. And then, Audrey, do you wanna conclude with some of the future steps and what we could go with next?
Yes. So to take the future steps on improving COVID-19 tracking, we're going to need to continue investigating the data and from the United States and other variables. This is very important because there definitely needs to be more research in this area in identifying the bias. We need to create a model to predict which methods would work best where, since this is very location sensitive. We want to increase contact tracing apps with increased accessibility. For example, visuals instead of words, due to the fact some users may not be very well versed in English or may be less technology literate, as these are more accessible for younger generations than older, and typically, so we want to counter that problem. And we want to develop plans to continue collecting data from people without the smartphone apps, for example, through calling and mailing, because not everyone has a smartphone.
Yeah.
And the impact on the Black and Indigenous people of color community is that in the United States and the UK, they suffered the most from COVID-19 deaths. We think it's important to reach these communities to share information and increase the awareness and improve the collected data. Our goal with this is to improve COVID-19 tracking for them and especially for their communities and to reduce the spread.
Yeah, and with that, I guess we conclude our presentation. So yeah, it was interesting learning to think about, where the biases in our data and how we could think about sort of the more higher proportionally affected populations of COVID-19 and, different ways that we could target them. Yeah, thank you so much for your time and listening to us.
Great job. Thank you, team.
Thank you so much, everyone.
Great insights on the data and all around, like, awesome job.
Thank you.
Right. Next up, let's see who we have next up. We have Team Racial Bonds presenting.
Great. I'm going to share my screen.
I want to remind all the teams, let's please stick to the time, the 10 minutes that you have been allocated. It's close to 7 and we still need to get to the awards. So yeah, thank you everyone.
Okay, great. And you can see this?
Yes.
Great. So hi everyone, I'm Willie Costello. I'm here with my teammate Jasmine Moore. Our other teammate Daria Aza couldn't make it here tonight and she sends her regrets. We're here to share with you our submission and our webpage that we call Racial Bonds. It's a statistical analysis of pretrial detention and bail bond practices in the state of Connecticut. And this webpage, as you'll see, takes the reader through our problem and through our magic solution. So what we're going to do in this presentation is walk you through this website and tell you what we did. I'll say at the start that Jasmine did all of our research, our concept, a lot of the writing that you'll see. Myself and Daria, we did the data wrangling, statistical analysis, data visualizations that you'll see. And we'll start off by, I'm going to hand it over to Jasmine and you can take it away.
Thanks, Willie. Hi, everyone. So I'm going to start with our issue. The broad context or setting of the issue our team explored rests in the implications of incarceration in the criminal justice system. We acknowledge mass incarceration in the federal and state prison systems, but focus in more specifically on the large proportion of unconvicted individuals, more than 70% of which are people of color, being detained in local jails across the country as they await trial. Cost and overpopulation resulting from pretrial detention and the related racial disparities continue to grow due to many systemic factors. We focus on the increased adoption and use of algorithms, specifically pretrial risk assessment instruments, as a contributing factor. These assessments intend to predict the risk of a defendant reoffending or failing to appear for court. Additionally, these algorithms are used to determine the terms of detention, such as setting bond amounts. The ethical problem presented by this is that the data that drives these algorithms may be biased. This may contribute to the racial disparities we are seeing in pretrial detention populations due to the use of systemic and economic inequities as indicators of risk. The goal of our webpage is to explore the impact of pretrial risk assessment algorithms through racial disparities in the pretrial inmate population. We also hope the webpage serves the purpose of raising awareness of this growing issue and facilitating conversations around the use of these algorithms in court systems in the United States.
Thanks, Jasmine. I'm going to take it over from here and talk a bit about our specific case study. Because what we decided to do for this webpage was to look at one particular state, and this was Connecticut. And we chose Connecticut because first, they've been using pretrial risk assessment algorithms since 2003, and their algorithm was recently validated in 2015. And the second reason is that the state of Connecticut makes publicly available data on all of its pretrial inmates, and they do this nightly. They release information on who is being held in pretrial detention. Now, we don't actually know everything about these inmates that the risk assessment algorithm knew about them when they were determining the conditions of their detention, but we do know several things about them from Connecticut's data. We know the amount of their bond, the number of days they've been detained, the offense for which they were arrested, and we also know their race. So we wanted to study the impacts of these pretrial risk assessment algorithms by studying, what the effects of the pretrial inmate population were, what effects the algorithm had on the pretrial risk assessment, on pretrial inmate population. So the first thing we looked at was just the overall racial dynamics. Demographics, and as you can see here, the blue line at the top is the Black inmate population, and the vast majority of inmates are always, from the years 2016 to today, have been Black inmates, followed secondly by white inmates, but closely, especially in recent years, by Latinx inmates. Now, you might think that perhaps these pretrial inmate population demographics are just reflective of the state's demographics, but really that couldn't be farther from the truth. So the vast majority of Connecticut's population is white. Black and Latinx people make up a smaller, much smaller minority, and yet the numbers are completely reversed in the pretrial inmate population. But the disparities don't end here. It's not just that we see differences in the number of inmates of different races, but in particular, we noticed a vast difference in the median bond amount that was assigned to white inmates versus inmates of color. So you can see clearly here, if we just look at the median bond amount set for inmates of color, it's over $10,000 higher than even the highest kind of estimate of the median bond amount for white inmates. Now, you still might be thinking, well, perhaps this is because inmates of color tend to be arrested for different offenses, which tend to carry higher bond amounts. And we looked into this and we found that even if you control for the type of offense, still you see these racial disparities. So we've highlighted seven particular defenses here in this chart. And you can see in each case, the median bond amount for an inmate of color is substantially higher than for a white inmate, whether it's violation of probation or breach of peace. Even when the offense is the same, we still see these patterns. Furthermore, we showed that this isn't just because inmates of color tend to be repeat offenders either. Even if you control for that, we still see these disparities. We also looked into gender differences to see if that played any role. We did find that, generally speaking, the situation looks a little bit better for women. There's a higher amount of kind of racial equality in terms of bond amounts when you're just looking at female inmates, but still there are a few offenses like the ones listed here where female inmates of color do still have higher bond than white female inmates. We looked a little bit into what might explain these differences, and one of the interesting things we saw between the male and the female inmate population is that while, as we saw before, the male inmate population, like the general population, is majority Black, the female inmate population is, and has always been in the 4 years of our data, majority white. So from these findings, the question we're left with is, okay, what does Connecticut know? What does the state's pretrial risk assessment algorithm know that we don't? Because as I said at the start, the data that we have from Connecticut on their pretrial inmate population isn't all of the data that these risk assessment algorithms know when they're setting the terms for the detention. Now we know, according to reports from the state, that these risk assessment algorithms take into account the offendant's marital status, their employment, their education, their substance abuse history, their mental health history. And so the question that we want to leave readers with is, okay, if these are the additional data points that are being fed into a risk assessment algorithm, is this really justice? Or is this perpetuating society's existing inequities? So I'll hand it back over to Jasmine now.
So as Willie mentioned, we explored Connecticut's use of pretrial risk assessment instruments, but the implementation of these tools is not exclusive to Connecticut. This visualization, courtesy of Mapping Pretrial Injustice, gives us a better understanding of utilization of these instruments in their various forms all over the country. We hope that having tools like these featured on the webpage can support viewers in exploring this issue in the unique context of their specific state and country or county. This is definitely an overwhelming issue with many moving parts, and despite the challenges, there has been modeled success. The District of Columbia's Pretrial Services Agency properly uses these instruments in combination with minimally restrictive supervision practices and social interventions to sustain large proportions of pretrial defendants that are released, do not reoffend, and do show up to court, compared to approximately 60% of individuals in local jails around the country awaiting trial. Only 12% of those in DC jails are pretrial defendants. We have explored only a cross-section of this national issue in order to contribute to the conversation around ethical use of data in criminal justice contexts. There is much more to learn and action to take. Mapping Pretrial Injustice, the Algorithmic Justice League, and Data for Black Lives are great starting points for continuing to learn about this, and we encourage viewers to explore the resources.
So thanks again. That brings us to the end of our webpage and our presentation. Moving forward, we really want to expand this webpage to kind of include more statistical analysis, to include more and more impactful data visualizations, to look at data from other states and bring that in. And ultimately also develop an interactive model where users could adjust certain parameters and see how bond amounts might change. But thank you very much for listening tonight, and all the best to everyone. Thank you.
Thank you, Team Racial Bonds. Great job. Next up is Team Gavel 2.0.
Hi, good night, everyone.
Hello.
Hi, everyone. Can you see my screen?
Yes.
So, good evening and good morning, everyone. We are Team Gavel 2.0. Our team is a diverse and international one and comprises Aisha Tugodebe, Jade Chattagoon, Jonas Isenegger, Bijal Mehta, and Irfan Mansouri. Jade and Jonas will be accompanying me in our presentation. My name is Aishatu, and it's with great pleasure and pride that we present to you our solution to the challenge AI in the criminal justice system. To address this issue, we have developed a hybrid solution that takes the form of a web application called Gavel 2.0. We closely examined the COMPASS algorithm, a widely popular commercial AI risk assessment tool which uses proprietary predictive algorithm. COMPASS is used by judges for scoring a criminal defendant's likelihood of recidivism. The algorithm has since been placed under much scrutiny because of its biased results. This bias not only emulates sentiments of a racist judge, but it has also already done its damage by villainizing certain racial groups in the system, as well as failing to give proper risk scores for those who may be an actual threat to society. Unfortunately, this algorithm exacerbates the inequities within the criminal justice system and further criminalizes BIPOC communities. We identified several problems. First and foremost, the COMPASS risk assessment tool is unfair. As we will show you during our presentation, the COMPASS algorithm is 2.14 times more likely to erroneously score African Americans as future recidivists when compared to Caucasians. Secondly, a recurrent concern about machine learning algorithms is that they operate as black boxes, making it impossible to identify how and why the algorithms reach particular decisions, recommendations, or predictions. Yet judges rely on these algorithms with increasing frequency. They accept the proposed algorithm decisions unquestionably. This poses a problem of accountability, especially when it comes to verifying legal decisions as results. Lastly, there's the lack of transparency and accountability. COMPASS shows the judges only a final risk score. When people's lives are at risk, AI should not be blindly trusted as the sole decision maker, but must remain in the role of a decision support in the human-machine relationship. So we asked ourselves, what do judges need to see to quickly change their minds concerning the COMPASS score? Our algorithm is designed with the principles of explainable AI in mind, by showing the discrepancy of the COMPAS score between the different races. Our solution offers the judges a normalized score, presenting a racially unbiased score in comparison to the COMPAS score, and how the individual should have been treated differently to ensure fairness. With our solution, we want to challenge the decisions made by AI and raise awareness among the judges to use these algorithms responsibly and as a tool only. AI and the criminal justice system should never be the sole decision maker. Responsibility and accountability for decision making must remain with the judges. Now my teammate Jonas will walk you through our methodology. Thank you.
Thank you, Aishatu. So I'm going to go a bit more in the detail of the methodology before Jade actually show you the demo. So it all starts with the bias that ProPublica identified some years ago. So what you can see here is the false positive rate amongst the different races. So the false positive rate is the percentage of person being wrongly predicted as being future recidivist in this case. So as an African American and Native American, you have much more chance to be wrongly predicted as future recidivist with all the consequences on your life that comes with it. So what did we do to fix it? First, we had to replicate a proxy of this algorithm because we didn't have the algorithm, but only some of the data. So we managed to replicate like a model with similar performance. And we also removed, obviously, the variable race. And what we found out is that we actually had the same discrimination. So how come that by removing the race, you end up with the same discrimination? So there could be multiple reasons, but one of the main one is that when you look at reoffense rate for the different races, there is kind of big difference, and African American and Native American comes first. So first, like this raise a lot of questions in terms of the rooted injustice in the system that also cause such disparity. But in terms of understanding how this creates actually bias in terms of error rates, it's because the algorithm see those different groups are as more at risk. So it's going to be more strict with African American and Native American in terms to optimize what he thinks is a good model and accuracy. So here you have the different error rates we've looked before, depending on the cutoff points that the data scientist will choose. So what is the cutoff point? The cutoff point, well, here, again, we have the proxy we had was a binary classification. So the outcome of the model is the percentage, likelihood of someone to be future recidivist. So that's the x-axis. And you can see that depending on what is the cutoff that you choose. So the cutoff again is the point above which you will say, okay, we have enough likelihood to say that this person is going to commit a crime in the future. So depending on the cutoff, you can see that the false positive rate decrease. And it's different amongst the different races. That's a consequence of what we've said before. So what did Compass, not Compass, but the Compass algorithm did was to assign the same cutoff point for everyone. So same treatment to everyone, but here different outcome and very unequal outcome. So that's something very common in data science. Unfortunately, like we don't often think enough about this, about the consequence of this. And what we decided to choose is to kind of flip the script because we allowed to do that. It's just a question of trade-off. What do you want, like what's worth more than the other? So here, same treatment for everyone, yes?
Hi, Jonas.
Time?
We are going over time. Do you think you can cut it a little bit shorter? We still have 2 more teams to present and then the awards.
Sorry, okay. I'm gonna hurry up. So what we did is to put the constant as the error rate amongst the different races. And that implies that, of course, we will have a different treatment for the different races. So that's the choice we did, because error rates are more than error rate, and it impact people's lives. So now I'm going to let Jade show you the application.
Hello, good night, everyone. Is anyone hearing me? Everyone hearing me properly? Thank you. Thank you, Jonas. My name is Jade Chattagoon, and I'm proud to be a part of Team Gavel 2.2. My responsibilities include working on data visualization, collecting statistics for and brainstorming the web app, and writing the article. I will now take you through a demo of our web application, Gavel 2.2. Firstly, the user is presented with a case study where the case ID is entered in the search bar. Let's enter case 555. We are now taken to a page with information on case 555. On the left, we are presented with the defendant's profile, where we see the individual's name, their prior offenses, and their subsequent offenses. If we would like to see more information about the defendant, we can click More Info. The functionality of this section hasn't been built yet, so we will see this page is still in progress. Please check back later. But in future, this page will include historical and current information about the defendants in question, which will give the judge a sense of who this person is and what their criminal record is like. So going back to the main page, we see two scores on the right side. The first score, labeled as Compass Algorithm Score, tells the judge what score was generated from the Compass algorithm. The second score, or algorithm score, represents a normalized score produced by our algorithm. As we can observe in case 555, our algorithm has produced a lower score. Our hope is to ensure that the judge is cognizant of the current biases and errors associated with these algorithms and to gain more insight into the case studies presented. So, why our score? As mentioned earlier, the Compass algorithm is known for producing biased scores by race. Therefore, we present the judge with an opportunity to view the error rates directly according to race. On the left side, we have 6 options. Choosing one of these options generates the corresponding error rates produced by the Compass algorithm scores versus our algorithm scores. Suppose the judge chooses the first option, African American. On the right, we observe almost a whopping 10% difference in error rates, where our error rate is substantially lower than that of Compass. Underneath these scores, the judge can choose to learn more by viewing a preview of our fact sheet, or go back to the initial page and search another case study by going back to the case ID screen. If the judge chooses to view the fact sheet, he or she will view 2 sections. On the left, we provide a brief description of the aims of Gavel 2.2, an explanation of the error rates we observed, a comparison of the accuracy between the algorithms, and a final statement. On the right side of the fact sheet, the judge can observe general statistics regarding algorithms used for predicting recidivism. If we are afforded the opportunity to work on this in future, we plan to add more information and data visualization to this fact sheet. So all in all, our goals are to 1, provide the judge with supplementary information so that a more informed and fair decision can be made. 2, provide support and help bring justice to our BIPOC, LGBTQ, and other marginalized communities, as well as individuals who are being treated unfairly. 3, direct accountability back to the judge through the use of explainable AI. We hope that this demo can serve as a peek into the amazing web application Gavel 2.2 and pique your interest into the potential impact it can bring to our justice system. Thank you all for lending your time and patience with us today. We are grateful for the opportunity to present. Thank you.
Thank you, Team Gavel 2.0. This is fascinating. Great job. I'm actually really impressed with all our teams and the well thought of solutions that they've come up with. It's not easy to come, like when the whole world is coming out with, making it better, and these solutions in criminal justice, predictive policing, contact tracing are not easy to come up with. And you guys have attempted that. So kudos just for, thinking of how we can change that. So great job, everyone. We are just a little bit running out of time. So I want to please emphasize every team. Now we only have 5 minutes per team. Please just give an overall summary. Everyone can look at the details of your article presentation, all your work later on. This is just so that, we respect the time of everyone here who's at the ceremony and also our judges. Next, I would like to invite Team AI in Criminal Justice 1 to present their solution. Are you ready?
Yes, we are.
Yes. Can you see my screen?
Please shorten it to just what is absolutely necessary. Okay, thank you. Maybe 5 minutes.
Do you see my screen?
Yes.
Or no, I can't tell.
I can see your screen, Kristen.
Okay.
Yes,
cool.
we can see your screen.
Okay, and only my screen, right? Okay, cool. That works. Okay. Hi, everyone. I'm Kristen, and our group is Criminal Justice Team 1, very creative name. Today, we're going to be tackling some of the really big topics regarding the intersection of data and ethics. In particular, we'll be focusing on challenges of data and the criminal justice system and what that might mean for policy. So everyone in our group is here today, which is amazing because everyone contributed a lot, contributed really great work. So for a quick team introduction, I'm Kristen Lee. I go to Santa Clara University in California, and I helped coordinate and manage the project as well as help with the policy and the solution.
I'm Anna, and I'm still in high school, and I helped mainly with the policy and with research for the policy.
I'm Heita. I also attend Santa Clara University, and I mainly help with the policy for this project.
I'm Jasmia. I work at Morgan Stanley as a data strategist, and I help with the data analysis and the presentation.
So our team came together, joined forces, and got to thinking about why we chose this topic of criminal justice in the first place. And something that we came to realize was that, in the words of James Baldwin, color is not a human or a personal reality, it's a political reality. Color is a political reality, which means that society operates a political system that judges and convicts you based on the color of your skin, not the human or person behind it.
So to illustrate this, we have a statistic. Black Americans are incarcerated at 6 times the rate of white Americans and face longer sentences for similar crimes.
Okay, so I think that we're all aware that it's an ethical issue and that it shouldn't be so. I would explain it in more depth, but we have like pretty much no time. So what we decided to do is to try to assess the presence of bias in the US criminal justice system in order to assess its quality in comparison to other countries. We decided to compare it with other countries because it cannot be like assessed without any point of reference. And this comparison may yield some very interesting results if we compare also like do comparative analysis of the society and legal system to see how we can decrease the amount of bias.
We got our sources from the ICPSR, the UCR, and data.gov.uk. For our first level of analysis, we decided to examine the amount of arrests in the US versus UK overall. As we were able to see, about 3% of the US population was arrested in 2019 versus 2% in the UK, which is a 68% difference in the amount of people who were arrested. So for the purpose of uncovering potential racial bias, we broke out our data into 4 variables, looking at the Black population, the white population, Asian population, and the Native American population. In doing so, we see that Black people are more likely to be arrested than any other race. When we temper these rates of arrest by crime and by crime type after doing a breakout of the percentage of people arrested by race, we're able to see that this is consistent across the board, even when we're looking at specific crime types such as DUIs, as we see here. So when we're able to break out our plots to examine how particular states or the state level are affected by a race, across the board with arrest, we see that race is a factor. So when we then begin to break out analysis to look at the UK, at first glance, we see a more comparative result, but unfortunately, race is still a factor in arrest in the UK, because as we can see, Black people are more likely than any other race in the UK to be arrested.
So after looking at the results from these data sets, we decided to create a policy solution that centered around international crime distribution analysis. Specifically, Our solution is to create a policy tool that supports detecting racial bias through the creation and upkeep of readily accessible open source crime data available to the public. So that means both governments and everyday people can view and perform their own analysis on non-identifying crime data. And the reason why we want this policy to emphasize making this information open source and including an international slant is because, as Anna mentioned earlier, you can't really detect bias if you have nothing to compare the bias to. So maybe like everybody's equally biased, but it's hard to tell what qualifies as bias in the first place without that sort of international perspective. So hopefully this solution will shine a light on bias and also encourage more equitable policing by facilitating the work of comparative lawyers and promoting an independent branch of knowledge that serves as that check and balances against possible abuses of the criminal justice system.
So what impact does our solution have? Well, first of all, the most immediate application is comparisons on state level between the approaches in the society and the legislation, and it can be done pretty much right now from our analysis of states. We could scale it up to to the international scale, and it could become a resource for the comparative legal for the comparative lawyers, so they can see what legal systems would be interesting for comparison and would yield results as compared to the US. And potentially we could integrate it with policy tracker in order to see how given policies changes the amount of bias in a system. And later on, it could even become a machine learning model, which could even predict what impact would a policy have on the amount of bias in a given justice system.
So we know that our policy is not perfect. For one, we weren't able to get the exact information we wanted, and due to the constraints in the publicly available data, we had to focus on arrest statistics, which is not exactly representative of how many people were actually convicted. Given that the data is biased in itself, we know that factors such as sex, age, religion, and income, and other socioeconomic factors can be implicit within data reports themselves. We also cannot control the different ways across states and countries that they were using to record their data that we could find online. And we know that we may not be able to find as much data as we need online, especially if we're working internationally. However, we do know that this is a pretty strong first step towards a transparent and equitable future.
Hope that our solution will help in bringing a more equitable future and a future where the arrest rates among people of Black and white color are the same.
So in other words, we want justice, not color, to be our political reality. Thank you for listening, and a special shout out to our mentors and SMEs, Harshit Saraswat, Dayon Roy, Bruce Hoffman, Samantha Wigglesworth. Shout out to her. She was up at like 3 a.m. And of course, Shilpi and Susanna for making the entire event possible. Thank you.
Thank you, team AI in Criminal Justice. And now for our last team to present bail reformers.
Hi, team.
Okay.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah, thanks for giving this wonderful opportunity. So first, I would like to convey our great gratitude towards the host and the mentor. So I would like to present you the solution which we have come up with is a kind of hybrid solution. So shall I share my screen?
Yes, please.
Hope everybody able to see the screen.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, so basically here I will go through the agenda of what is the team introduction and brief problem statement and the policies which we have suggested, and the supporting visualizations we have, as well as I will walk you through the benefits of using these policies. So this is the team introduction. Rachel, she is a software engineer out of USA, and Kritin, he is a student in Indonesia. He's studying in University of Bay Area, and Frederick is a civil engineer but passionate about towards AI, and Mackenzie is a law student out of California, and myself, Kishore, from Bangalore, passionate data scientist. So coming to our brief problem statement, what we have come up with here is like out of what do you say, Kinetica data set which we have come up with the risk assessment tools. What is the usage of the basic RTA to reduce the cost and to increase the fairness. So when we go through the actual presentation and draw the graphs of visualizations out of the data set, we understand the basic intuition of these RTA was not fulfilled because of these two reasons. One is if you see the graph here, the black people was majorly paying the more cash bonds in order to come out of the bail, to get the bail. So what we have come up with is total 5 policies. Out of these 5 policies, one is lack of information. What is meant by lack of information is like majorly judges will go through heavily on AI tools. So they once they rely on the AI tools, they don't know exactly what is underlying concept which it is deriving the results out of the tools. So one is lack of understanding, and another one is lack of trust of the data which they have built on top of the AI tools which they come up with. So what we have proposed as a policy is like first of all, the model which it is building out of that is should be publicly available, and it should be unbiased. So the dataset which it is getting used for this RAT, it should be available publicly so that people will understand, and the judges and the corresponding lawyers can better understanding while giving any judgment and defending any case, as well as it will be helpful for pre-trials as well. The supporting visualization we come up with here is like we've gone through different state-wise and county-wise and visualizations, like what are all the different tools corresponding counties they are using. We have come up with the state level and county level as well. And the major second policy we come up with is basically, even though some RATs are available, there is a lack of what do you say, understanding, and it is not exactly totally open sourced. So only some partial bias free data is not there. So what we have suggested is come up with publicly verifiable RAT. So yearly basis it should be reviewed and getting understood by the people with the help of some private consultant, so that if it is having a company kind of thing where it will review and keep on update the RATs and make it publicly available, they can easily that can be easily used by the public. So some even another policy like add-on policy, so majorly NGOs, they can focus majorly on this system in order to get the help out of the tech AI, and they will come up with better RATs out of this. So the lack of transparency is the issue here. And even third one is lack of contestable data. So most of the states require RATs, which is during the pre-trial we use for the bails. So what we have mentioned, the policy here, what is the issue here is like it is not comprehensive enough in order to understand the RATs. So states should publish because various different counties have different issues. So we should give the corresponding counties, and different states have different policies. It should be good to have one RAT out of all. I mean, generic kind of unique kind of thing to make it I mean, reliable and available to the public to come up with better understanding of this. So the corresponding policy supporting visualization is here like this. We should have different education tools in order to considering the assessment. And there is another policy we come up with, the issue for unbiased factors. So majorly, if you take consideration of previous criminal background which the convict have, and the livelihood which he is living or she is living, and the education, household is, so many factors are there, and the mental health. So these are really kind of biased data. So whenever there is any factor which the data should predict the client is really having convicted. So for that, what is it really dangerous for to the public? It should be given in the terms instead of going with all these bias kind of factors. So what we have suggested as a policy is like have some rubrics in order to eliminate these kind of proposals. We have suggested this kind of policy in order to give the bail. So the corresponding graph visualization we have. And the last one is like solutions. So generally people sometimes fail to appear to the court. So in that case, it is also kind of factor, a kind of biased factor, which really causing issue to the people. So what we have suggested is use the technology and give the latest updates through social media or whatever the people really get accessible easily. So we have even see that 26% if you send the text messages, people are increased attending the court when is there any procedures and following things. So we have suggested like that. The corresponding FTA as a key indicator KPI we have used, and identify what are all the different counties they are using, and how much beneficial they are getting out of all the other United States. Yeah, thank you. Thanks for your support. And the team is not available, so I am the only person going through the presentation. And I would like to say thanks to different mentors as we have gone through different what do you say, support at various levels. And special thanks to Susanna. She's really given me last minute chance to join, as earlier I have faced issue. And Bruce, he has given the how we can go through Trello and get things, and our mentor as well. So yeah, thanks for the opportunity.
Thank you, Team Bail Reformers. Great job, everyone. You guys have really blown it out of the water. Great job. And now we are, for what we have all been waiting for, we are at the awards, and we are waiting patiently and eagerly to hear our judges. So let me first introduce our judges. We had 3 judges with diverse skills and backgrounds. Please welcome Joe Morocco, Head of Corporate Compliance and Ethics, Data Protection Officer at Little US, and also a Data Ethics for All advisor. Preeti Bajwa, she is a Deputy Attorney General at California Department of Justice. And Patrick Lynn, who is the Director of Ethics plus Emerging Sciences Group at California Polytechnic State University. Welcome, Joe, Preeti. Patrick couldn't be here tonight, but I want to welcome Joe and Preeti.
Thanks for having us. Really appreciate everyone's submissions. It made our job quite difficult as we went through the various sessions. We met a couple of times last week, both reviewing ourselves, followed by reviewing as a group, and certainly quite difficult to come together to make a final decision for the awards. But congratulations to everybody for their entry and for all the work. It's really interesting to watch today. Appreciate we were concerned about time, but to see everyone's, the level of commitment and the amount of the heart that was behind all of these projects is really nice to see. Congratulations, everybody.
Preeti, welcome.
Yes, thank you so much. You know, I echo what Joe said. It was quite difficult. We spent quite a bit of time reviewing everything, and I do appreciate the presentations. It gave a little bit more different perspective on what the teams were trying to accomplish, and it was very interesting solutions that everyone came up with across the board.
Love your background, Preeti.
Can thank Sanjeev for that.
Very grand. Where is it? Where are you?
We're sitting in Sanjeev's office.
I know, but the background. What? Tell us a little bit about it.
What is that background, honey?
Do you know?
Yeah, it's from Dropbox. It's 6.
Default option number 2.
It's called 620 JPEG. If anybody wants to find it, I have no idea. I just said Gala background Zoom meeting.
Oh, cool.
We're gonna say Europe and Prague.
Yeah,
that
works. That's what I was looking for. That works. So yeah, we'll go with Europe, London, Paris. Yep. Whatever works for everyone. Even Las Vegas, they're like Bellagio has some great like this flower, very elaborate flower decorations. So awesome.
New York, right? Yeah, it's New York City actually.
It's New York.
Cool. All right.
I was gonna tell you that, but recognize the buildings.
Go ahead, Dorian. Sorry. So what I wanted to say is thank you all again, and for our award ceremony, all hackathon participants, as you know, will earn the digital badge and a certificate for participating, as well as they get to participate in the Ethics4NextGen mentoring program. For our winning teams, we have 5 different output tracks, and that was visualization model, which was a AI model. They could come up with an AI model, an application, a policy, or a hybrid of the 4. And we have had some great entries in some of these categories. Not all of the categories got an entry. And I would now invite Joe and Preeti to share their thoughts on the overall submissions as well as specific feedback for each team. Joe?
Yeah, I think so. I'll go first, and then I'll turn it over to Joe. Okay, so there was 6 teams, and there's 2 of us, so we divided up 3 by 3. So the first one that I'm going to discuss is the AI criminal justice policy. Overall, this was a very interesting area. I mean, comparative law, like who would think to do that? And we really liked that this particular topic was trying to hold people accountable and hold the regulators accountable and give lawyers a tool for how they could investigate the data and come to salute and hold people accountable and also come to solutions that would stop the abuses in the system. We thought that the international crime distribution tool that they'd come up with was quite novel, and it was just a great concept to educate and hold the system accountable. We also thought that they had clear data sources and good references. So the next team that I was going to give a little bit of feedback on was AI Criminal Justice Team 5. That's Gavel 2.0. What we really liked was there was a really clear user in mind, this with the judges, and there was a really great definition of the problem. And I think that's what some of the issues come up with is the topic is so big. What exactly who are we trying to address? Who are we trying to get to? And this was very clear. We are giving this particular tool to you judges, and this is how we are going to help you. And I really like the fact that they stress the importance of using AI as a tool for judges to review and make a decision versus having AI do the job for them. I like that too. And again, that comes back to accountability to the judges, which is you can't just take a number that's spat out at you. You have to look at what's at all the factors. And the comparison with Compass, it really helps when judges are going through like 100 cases a day and having to make quick decisions. And then the last team that I looked at was AI Criminal Justice 7, the bail reformers. And this particular team really highlighted the problem of the lack of transparency in the risk assessment tools. I mean, that's what it really boils down to, is that there's no transparency. How are lawyers going to look at what evidence is being used against the clients, right? And we really liked the policy of moving towards an open source code, because we are dealing with human people. We're dealing with people's liberties here, right? So we should not hide behind regulations to keep it separate. And we thought it was a very, very nice data visualization. And we liked how it focused on education, transparency, and ensuring an understanding of how these risk assessment tools work. Okay, I'll turn it over to Joe.
Again, thank you very much. Focus on three more, maybe with some specific feedback. I think it's important to note that although the teams did present themselves here today, there's actually a lot more behind each of these projects that they didn't necessarily present. Starting maybe with racial bonds. Again, you saw their website, but what you didn't necessarily see was they'd also had a quite compelling, really crisp video that went with that as well. Again, they were in the visualization track, so their focus was kind of to have that clear message. I think the presentation today focused, Willie and Jasmine in particular, focused on kind of the stats behind that, but there was a really strong, and I really recommend everybody to watch that video if you haven't seen it, really crisp message, targeting on kind of making awareness in this area. The next one I'll mention, AI criminal justice COVID contact tracing. We looked at that again as a group today. I think Audrey, you're still here, but some of your others team had to drop off. Again, this is a video-based stats presentation. Today, obviously, we saw some of the background behind how they came up with that, but there was also a video that went with that as part of that deliverable. Huge focus on what I was actually quite surprised with some of the statistics that they came up with there. So all the more reason that it was valuable that they did find them and present them. Again, this was just for everyone's memory, this was the need for alternative forms of communications for communities that are underrepresented, particularly in terms of phones and smartphones, etc. So really interesting project there. And the last one I'll mention very briefly is the Status Quo project. Obviously it was presented briefly on the screen again today, but that was a web-based app and a chatbot that actually worked, and it wasn't just a few screens. We played with this, and its responsiveness was really good, and it also was supplemented with a full video presentation. And again, the criteria we were interested in, of course, our general interests come into it, but there was the applicability of the solution, the impact potential that it could have, and then also, of course, the presentation. So again, I'll just wrap up by saying that you did see a 5 to 10 minute version of each of these projects, but there was an awful lot more behind them, and definitely reach out to anyone involved if you want to learn more about each of the specific projects.
Thank you, Joe. Thank you, Preeti. This is awesome. Great feedback, very well articulated. Thank you, judges, for taking the time to not only review, but also provide feedback. I think going forward, this is immensely valuable to teams who were able to submit, as well as who were not able to submit, but they can work towards a solution in any of these areas. So thank you again. And now I would like to invite the judges to announce the winners for the policy track.
Okay, so I'm going to be announcing the winners in the first three categories. So in the policy track, the winner was AI Criminal Justice Team 1. They came up with a really great idea and great thoughts on how to solve this issue with discriminatory practices, and we really like the idea of using comparative law to reach that decision. So the second award is in the hybrid category. The winner in that category is AI Criminal Justice Team 5, Gavel 2.0. And yay! And
congratulations! Incredible project.
The first team as well as the second team.
We need a drum roll here, I think.
Yeah, exactly.
There is no confetti, nothing. We need something.
It's virtual Zoom, virtual conferences, events, you don't get the pump and show.
Yeah, and the last one is in visualization. We had a couple of entries there. The winner on that was the AI COVID contact tracing team. Too. I think everyone agrees that they had amazing visual graphics. They really put in a lot of work into that, and it was eye-opening actually look at the data presented in that way. So congratulations. Those teams. And now I'm going to turn it over to Shilpi and Joe, who are going to announce the overall winner, grand prize winner, and the Judge's Choice winner.
Thank you, Preeti. So I want to quickly share what is the other award, right? So what is the Grand Choice Winner Award? So that is given to one team that will be chosen as a grand prize winner. And this team will be awarded AI books sponsored by one of our individual sponsors, Susanna Raj. And before we bring her up, I want to let Joe announce the two winners. The other one is a grand prize winner, which is the Judge's Choice Award, which is also sponsored by one of our members from our community, Sudha Jamte. And it is for any team whose solution directly helps community members from the impacted, minority, or marginalized communities. This could be, but it's not limited to BIPOC, LGBTQ, as well as others. So Joe, I invite you to announce the winner for those two.
So like I said earlier, yeah, a bit of a drum roll, but this was particularly difficult. So obviously, you know, there were specific target deliverable areas that people chose, but then to try and choose from very different types of entries. If you think some of the entries were very much software-based coded, you know, in terms of the delivery, and others were policy-based essay-style entries. So obviously, it was difficult for us to try and to look at them and obviously come up with an overall winner. But again, trying to come back with our general matrix of, you know, the potential applicability, you know, the impact potential if it were to be rolled out, and then obviously the presentation aspect as well. So we do have two announcements to make today. One is, as you said, the grand winner overall, and the other is also the Judge's Choice. So for the Judge's Choice in particular, it was very difficult. In fact, we slightly disagreed, to be very honest. But ultimately, there were 3 different teams shortlisted. And then ultimately we had to make a final decision at the end. So Shilpi, any preference between starting with Judge's Choice or the grand winner?
The grand winner first, please.
So drum roll my pen, I guess. So the grand winner of this year's hackathon was AI and Criminal Justice Gavel 2.0.
Yay!
Congratulations, Deyal, Ishatu, Irfan, and Jonas.
Awesome! Congratulations!
Congratulations!
And again, obviously, you know, that was a web-based, you know, app that actually works. You know, it was a concept, but a concept that they had delivered into a, you know, a working concept. Compares Compass results with, you know, bias-free algorithms and trying to identify a lower error rate. It's a working prototype. So again, back to our presentation, applicability, impact potential, if you like, you know, it's ready to launch, you know, arguably with not an awful lot more work, and could have massive impact were to be released in the right way. So congratulations to that team. Absolutely spectacular effort.
Thank you. And then the Judge's Choice Award.
So for the Judge's Choice, as I said, there were 3 shortlisted, and they were bail reformers, racial bonds, and team status quo. Bail reformers and racial bonds in a similar-ish topic area, both really interesting projects, but ultimately the team status quo has been chosen as the Judge's Choice for this year.
Yay! Congratulations to all the teams.
I think Philip is still on the line, maybe
Thank you.
Some of the
Oh,
others.
your actor's classic.
Congratulations, incredible project. Again, you know, this was a web-based app, but the chatbot is already working. It's a working prototype. It also came with a you know, a video presentation that ran through everything. focus on hate crime reporting and analysis. Some really interesting research done behind the scenes. For the other two that were shortlisted, I promise it was hair's breadth. So really well done. I think Kishore's on the line, and maybe Willie and Jasmine and some others. Great job as well. Unfortunately, we had to choose one, and it was Team Status Quo.
Very cool. All right. So now I'm going to invite, thank you, Joe. Thank you, Preeti. And thank you, Patrick, who's not here, but I know he contributed towards this decision-making, very difficult decision-making process, as Joe and Preeti have rightly pointed out. And we have all seen these are such great solutions, at least a start of something great. And it would be difficult to choose the winner from one of those. So thank you again. And now I would like to invite Susanna Raj, who will talk about the books that she wants to give as awards for the overall winner, the grand prize winner. Susanna?
Yeah, thank you, Shilpi. I think you can put up the, instead of them seeing my face, you can put up the titles. Yeah, actually, I had a lot of difficulty trying to pick a book, pick like a good collection of books for people to choose from. But I am biased towards psychology. I come from a humanities major. That's how I got into AI. So I felt giving a humanities overview is more important than just, giving you guys books on AI and how to do machine learning and deep learning and all of that. There's plenty of them around, and some of them are even free. So I think I skipped all of them and went with these three categories. I actually believe that you should start with a humanities overview of artificial intelligence. So these are my singularities near, the sentient machine, human compatible, and designing artificial intelligence by Sudha Jamte, who is also here in the audience. But more than that, it's I feel like if you understand the impact that you're going to have before you do anything with AI, that would be a great introduction. And I put AI ethics in the middle. And these are my picks. It's very hard to pick a book on AI ethics, but I felt Weapons of Math Destruction, Moral Machines, and Race After Technology are great introductions to AI ethics. And finally, human cognition overview is something I deeply believe in. Whenever I hear deep neural networks, and neural networks are, designed after the brain, and so some of them are like so overexcited about how advanced it is and how it can do so many things. But then there are others also who are not impressed with it. I just think you guys need to understand how the human brain actually works, and how we all think, and how we all form our decisions, and how we live our life based on the society that we live in, and the norms and conditions that we have been brought up under. So these three books, I believe, give you a good overview on human cognition. And I believe the winning team, all the team members gets to pick one book from these three categories, and it will be mailed to you.
Thank you, Susanna. And thank you, and congratulations to all the teams. The judges' choice award has been awarded by Sudha Jamte, who is also in our books category, and she is here tonight. And I know she said, do not invite me, but Sudha, would you like to say a few words?
This has been amazing. This is amazing. I mean, I love the creativity of any hackathon, and this is like mind-blowing because the clarity of the insights and the presentation, passion of the teams, and how they work together as a team in every one of them, right? And the outcome of how they are going to change the world. This is not just another tech product they're creating. It's just mind-blowing. So I feel so blessed to be here. I was surprised Susanna was asking me about what are the AI books that I like and I'm reading, and I gave her a big list. Didn't know what she was even, doing with that. So I'm surprised to see my book show up in there. So I'm happy to give the AIX book copy to every single team who participated.
Oh, wow.
Because I think when you pick a winner, it's just unfair sometimes, like the judges said, it's very hard and you have to kind of not award everybody. So I'm happy to do that if I can follow up with you, Shilpi or Susanna.
Thank you, Sudha.
Thank you, Sudha. Thank you so much.
Yes, it was very generous of you. Thank you so much. All right, so I want to also tell everyone there have been such great solutions, and I want to add to that you guys can continue this journey. Obviously, stay connected with Data Ethics for All, but we also have the accelerator and our think tank. If you want to continue working on the solutions, please reach out to us, and the winning teams as well as all the teams who participated are invited to the Ethics4NextGen AI Accelerator, as well as our think tank to continue on AI research. And one thing that we are looking into, and I'm talking to Sanjeev and other people to see how we can do it. We want to make our think tank, this is a big announcement and it's not official yet, but only for your ears and eyes. This is like a preview of what is going to come. We are going to make the first open source accelerator and think tank in the world. And so what that means is, like, we will be bringing community projects and community-based research, and we will invite social benefit organizations to partner with us. And people who are here and part of our community, part of our family, Data Ethics or family, who are diverse in like human oversight, cognitive diversity. They bring so much expertise, not just in technology and data science, but also in ethics, psychology, and all these different areas, marketing and UX and UI and ML, Excel, AI. So we are going to take all of these and we are going to start building solutions that will really change the world. And join me in this journey. Bring your ideas, bring your projects, partner with us, and let's really take solutions that will help change society. With that thought, I want to leave you all. Good evening, good night, good morning, no matter from what part of the world you're joining us. Thank you all for this immense support. This was a foolish undertaking, if I may say, because I had never created an event like this. So it was foolish. I'm glad it turned out well. And Joe is smiling there. He's like, yes, I know. But this is awesome. We have come out as winners. 6 great solutions are a start of what we want to do. We had 250 people registered. We had over 6 teams who actually submitted solutions. Positive energy all around. There's more to come. Let's do it. All right. Thank you, everyone. Good evening and good night.
Thanks, everybody.
Everyone.
Thanks, Silpi.
Thank you, everyone.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you,
Thank you. Congrats to all the teams.
Thanks for giving this
Thank
opportunity.
you. This was awesome.